Helen, you guys have struggled with Connecticut this year. What makes them such a tough matchup for you guys?
Well, I think we played them 3 times very early on, and obviously this was our first game, and obviously with a young group, we learned a lot about ourselves right from the start. I think about them, like they just play really hard. They're going to do some different things in ball screens. They're going to trap some. They're just going to be aggressive. They're an old group. They know what they're doing. They play smart. They play basketball the right way. So I feel like we've learned a lot since we've played them last. I feel like we're playing differently. I feel like we're playing more up tempo. I think the pace we play at tonight has to be fast. That's where we're going to be able to score a lot of our points. So I think that has to be the main focus. I think the first 3 times we played them, we didn't really play with much pace. When we played them here, we made a run there, especially in the fourth quarter. I think we were up 4 with 4 to play or something like that. So we had our opportunities here, but we get another one to try to avoid a sweep, and I think everybody's kind of fired up about that.
Go Matt, then we'll go Christine.
Yeah, hi Caitlin. Kind of on a more lighthearted side. Saw you guys as a team got to go to Erica's restaurant in Atlanta. So just kind of what was that like? And then also saw that she catered. So what was kind of the favorites amongst you guys?
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool to see, Edub's spot and something that she cares about a lot. And as a teammate, you love getting to support that and see what people are passionate about. And that was something for her that, she's been putting a lot of time and effort into. So it was fun for us and fun to do something outside of basketball too. When you're, traveling a lot to get off the bus and, get moving and see other things. But I would say my favorites, the mac and cheese was really good. I would say that was probably my favorite. I think a lot of people would probably say that too.
Go Christine, then we'll go Lou.
Caitlin, what does it mean to you to win the Eastern Conference Player of the Week award? I'm sure on your list of awards it may not be your number one, but what does it mean at this point in this season as a rookie to be getting that kind of award? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I think it's definitely a hard award to win, especially in this league, whether you're in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. Like, there's so much talent on each side. Like, every team is just loaded. Like, this is one of the hardest leagues in the world because there's so many limited spots. So it's certainly cool. And I think for myself, like, coming out of the break and really playing aggressive, good basketball is something that I'm proud of. And I feel like as a team, we've done that too. So continue to just build my confidence. I felt like I gained some confidence even going into the break and just being able to carry that. Once we started playing again, I think I've been able to stack some games together, and at times, like, consistency was kind of what I struggled with early on, and sometimes I'd be really good and other times I wasn't as great. So just continuing to find more consistency, I think, has been my biggest goal, and I think I've done a good job of that, heading into the break and certainly now, so just continuing that too.
Lou and Scott.
I was briefly asked Christy about the playoff idea. And how much is that on your mind and as a thing to aspire to as, the season's coming, regular season's coming to an end in a rush, and you're well positioned, but you still got to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think it's not something we necessarily talk about all the time. I think everybody's plenty aware of, what the circumstances are for us, and just going one game at a time. Like, every game is going to be just as important as the next, whether we were playing the Atlanta last game or now we're playing Connecticut, who I believe has already clinched a playoff spot. So for us, every single game is just as important as the one before or one after. That's what it's going to come down to. Who knows, for that last spot, it could certainly come down to a game. But that's definitely what we're fighting for. That's been our goal since we started day one. But we know, it starts every single day in practice. And I think we've done a good job of approaching it that way too. Like, I'm proud of our group. Even though we lost at Minnesota, we responded really well at Atlanta with, only one day in between where we didn't even practice. So I think our mental prep, our preparation has got a lot better. Our ability to move on and learn has gotten a lot better. And that's something we're going to need, especially down the stretch as, people begin to get tired. Like, these are the games that are going to be the most important.
Go Scott, then we'll finish with Brad.
You mentioned those matchups at the beginning of the year. How long ago does that feel like in this whirlwind of a season?
It feels like a different season, honestly. I think for myself, like, I feel like I was a completely different player then. I feel like we were a completely different team then. I feel like we've been able to find more consistency, like I said earlier. I think the way we play is a lot different than how we were playing then. I feel like back then we didn't even really know our identity as a team and how we really wanted to play basketball. I was trying to figure out my teammates were trying to figure out me and how we were going to put everything together to make it work. And I think now we're doing a lot better job of that. I think at the beginning of the year you saw teams, trap us a lot more on the ball screens. You're not seeing that as much. I would say this is the team that's probably going to do that the most out of anybody in this league. That's kind of what they hang their hat on, is their defense. So that's going to be super important. If we can take care of the ball, I feel like we're going to have a really good chance to win. they really do a good job in getting tons of turnovers. So, but yeah, it feels like a different season. I mean, I think we're night and day different, and that's what you're going to see with a young group. Obviously, we're young. We have some older players, but a lot of the people that we have in our lineup are younger. So just figuring each other out and learning, I think, has got us a long ways.
You mentioned how they defend you. What becomes important when you face a team like this with so much length, so much disruption that they try to provide defensively?
Yeah, honestly, I think it starts on defense for us. It's like when we get stops on defense and push in transition, we're really hard to stop. That's the pace we play with. That's our best thing. Is when we can go and play fast. That's when we're most successful. That's when we score the most points. So I would say that needs to be the focus number one, going against their defense, and then obviously just executing, setting good screens, and then like I said, taking care of the ball. That's something that they do really well. Is taking your mistakes and scoring points off of them. So those are probably our main focus points.
Brett.
You talked about identity and this team's still looking for it. Can you pinpoint what that might be right now, or is that something these next 10 games will play out?
Yeah, I think it's something we're still trying to find, and I think we've done a good job of slowly finding that together. I think the more we play together, the better we're becoming. I think at times we're not putting together 4 quarters. I think even at Atlanta, we kind of just snuck by there at the end. It wasn't always pretty, but I think at the same time that does show growth. At times we would kind of crumble early in the year if something like that would have happened, but we still found a way to battle and find a way to win. So I think there's great learning opportunities in that, but also a positive in finding a way to win. So I think for us, the main goal is just continuing to find that consistency for 4 quarters and being really good in that. And I think we've had moments of that, definitely after the break, where we've been a lot better. It's just, continuing to improve in that way.
You guys are 0-3 against Connecticut this year. Obviously, they're very good, but what to you has made them such a difficult matchup for you guys so far?
I think just being the veteran team that they are, just the experience that they have, especially playing us early in May and June. That was tough matchups for us then. But they've got great players that can play inside and out. I mean, when AT can run the point, and they can run so many inverted actions, that's just really hard to guard.
Are you aware yet of Katie Lou's status for tonight?
She's going to go through warm-ups, and we'll make a call after that.
I guess with Katie Lou as well, if she ends up not going, do you have a plan for who you would put in the starting lineup?
Yeah, we're going to go with Lexi if who's
I've got a Lou and Christine over there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Sorry.
I need a few more steps. So, you've lost the 3 to Connecticut, but that other game that was here, I think was what, a 4-point game?
Yeah, 8.
And you had the lead. And Caitlin, I think, rolled her ankle in that one too, but then came back and had that incredible 3 that Eric was, assisted. So is that something you look at and say, okay, that was only the 4th game of the year. Look what we were able to do in that situation. What can we do in this one?
Yeah, after going back and watching the game here and then the last game that we played there, it's just so evident that our team is just in a different place on both ends of the floor. We're better defensively, which is going to allow us to do some different things. And then offensively, just the pace that we're playing at, and then also just the chemistry that's been built since that time. We just look different. It was, just watching those games, it really, it makes you just smile to see kind of where we've been and then now where we are.
Go with Lou, then we'll go Scott.
Do you use the word playoffs in practice? Do you tell them? Do you mention it constantly, or do you never mention it? Or somewhere in it?
Lou, what are you talking about right now? I don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, it's something that we've talked about. That's our ultimate goal, but it's not something that we can just focus on. We just have to keep focusing on what's right in front of us. Keep focusing on the next opponent. Finding ways to we had against Atlanta the other night, we did some really good things, and just finding ways to even get a little bit better. We just really talk about getting 1% better every day.
Go Scott, then we'll go Jacob.
With Damiris, what she's been able to accomplish coming out of the All-Star break, she probably benefited from that more than anyone maybe. What are you asking of her, and what have you kind of liked about what she's provided since that break?
Yeah, Dee Dee is just a veteran player who has a lot of great experience. I mean, she played in Minnesota with Simone and Maya and Brunson and Sylvia Fowle. So she's been in these games that some of our players haven't been in yet. And She brings something out there just with her experience on the defensive end where she's covering, just understanding the game. She's covering positions that sometimes we don't have, that we just don't know to be in those places. She also makes it really difficult offensively to be able to step out, and when we have 5 players or 4 players around Aaliyah Boston, it's really hard to double team Aaliyah in there. And she's just been knocking some shots down. But she's just been such a huge, you talk about having her during the Olympic break, that was great for her to have all that practice time with us and then just to be ready to go. And she's just done exactly what we made her to do since she's been with us.
Coach Jacob on the right.
We see a lot of rookies when they come in, they kind of hit that proverbial rookie wall. It hasn't really seemed to be the case with Caitlin this season. Just kind of in that context, how impressive has she been, where it feels like she's just steadily improving throughout the year?
Yeah, I think that Olympic break really helped her out with that rookie wall. I think her getting those, that full week off and getting her legs under, she just keeps growing and learning this the game, her teammates, the style of play we're trying to play. She has. I love the fact that she is just a playmaker first. Like, that's where she is. I love that, but I still, we've had a lot of conversations in the last 24 hours about a lot of shots that she needs to take that she wasn't taking, especially in the fourth quarter of that Atlanta game. And she agreed. She was kind of with her ankle a little bit, just didn't feel comfortable at times. But those are shots that she needs to take for us in that fourth quarter for us to have an opportunity to get wins.